going to do something different this morning. We're going to do, actually, audience participation. All right? So, Gage, you ready? Sure. All right. This is our first participant. He's looking at me like, what am I doing now? Just a nice, easy beat. Nice, easy beat. They can clap too. Okay.
Something they clap to?
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, I know that some of you all are visitors, and you come into a Baptist church expecting who knows what. Right? Okay. Also, one of the things that happens is this. As Baptists, if you ever go to another church, you'll find that in most other churches, they have rhythm. In Baptist churches, we kind of go to our own beat. So today, we're going to talk about trying actually to give you guys some rhythm for Christmas. And if it happens, this will be God's present to you all.
Amen.
Okay? So, Gage is going to give us a beat to clap to. Okay? So, you ready? This is just like a Baptist church. Ready? Let's go. Give him something else. See, you guys are all losing it. See, when it's nice and easy, it's easy to keep that beat, right? But then all of a sudden, when Gage goes crazy, and starts going all over the place, all you want to do is just go like this. Which says, I could do this in my sleep, right? Ready? We're done. We're finished. There you go. Give him a hand. You see, it's easy to play when you've got a little rhythm that's so easy and it's just nice and steady. But then all of a sudden, when something begins to start happening and something gets out of rhythm, it's difficult for us because that's not generally what we do. This is something new. I can keep that beat, but I can't keep the other beats. And so what ends up happening a lot of times is we're going to talk about the rhythm of Christmas. Because I need to tell y'all something. The rhythm of Christmas is spelled G-O-D.
Amen.
It is God. He is the rhythm of Christmas. And we're going to share with you this morning about what we mean by this rhythm. Because if you take the simple rhythm that we just had at the beginning and you just clap, it's real nice, it's slow, it's real smooth, and it's very easy to take that rhythm and just keep going with it all the time. But all of a sudden, something happens in life. And it's no longer the nice, smooth rhythm. And so what ends up happening is a lot of times in our life, in our marriages, in our jobs, something happens to upset that nice, smooth cadence of that rhythm. And then all of a sudden it's, how do I keep up with that? How do I do this? This isn't what I expected. Yesterday when I got up, I expected, a lot of y'all got Fitbits and trackers and all this stuff for your walks and stuff. And so you've got a goal in there that says, I'm going to walk either 5,000 to 10,000 steps a day. And so it's easy to do that if you keep this steady pace and this steady rhythm going all of the time. But the problem is that all of the time in the walking that you're going to do every day is not going to be on smooth ground. There's going to be times that you're going to be walking upstairs, and sometimes it may be 2 or 3 flights of stairs, and you're out of physical shape, and you're out of condition, and the next thing you know, those 2 to 3 flights of stairs, they started out kind of quick, but by the time you're getting up to the 2nd floor, those steps are getting a lot slower.
Amen.
And that rhythm and that cadence is not what it was when you started.
Amen.
In the military, what I learned was I can run 2 miles. Before I went into the military, I could not run 2 miles because I was a sprinter. And I could basically run 880 yards, okay? Basically 2 laps around about a half a mile. I could run that at a kind of a fast pace. After the 2nd lap, I'm dead. I will not make the 3rd one. I may have been leading the pack on the first 2, but I'll tell you what, I'll be dead last by the 3rd lap because I was all spent out. Because that was the only way I knew how to run as a sprinter, was to sprint. And to try to do a mile when we did it in what was it, physical education classes, PE classes, we would do that. And I could run a fast 50, I could run a fast 100, but I ran a really terrible mile. And then when I went into service and they said, okay, you're going to run 2 miles, and I thought, you and who else? And then they said, you're going to keep running until everybody is going around, which meant it may be more than 2 miles. So you had to learn how to pick up your buddy to carry that person across the finish line. But the way we found out to do that was you had a drill sergeant there, and that drill sergeant was running right along beside of you, calling cadence. And when they would call that cadence, you got set in your mind that cadence, and the next thing you know, you're finished with 2 miles, and you're ready to go. Come on, drill sergeant, let's go 3. And somebody's standing next to you and said, are you crazy? But no, we've got the cadence, we've got the pace, let's keep going. Let's not stop. And that's the way we want life to be. We want life to be just a nice, sweet cadence all the time, that is really smooth, that we can transition from one step to the next, and then all of a sudden something happens. And it gets out of whack. And now we've forgotten what cadence we were in. You see, because life isn't always smooth sailing in what we do. And so what happens is, when we hit those problems, we don't keep that same rhythm in our head. We lose sight of that rhythm and that cadence. Sometimes things have happened to you, and I hear people all the time, they're going through, and if this is you, listen. There are some that go through life and they go through one bad relationship through another and through another. And somebody says, oh, you just have bad luck. No, it isn't. Maybe you just have bad rhythm.
Amen.
Because you see, sometimes it isn't always the other person. Maybe there's a problem with your rhythm. Maybe it's what you're looking for, or maybe it's something that's within you. And sometimes you need to realize that maybe, just maybe, that you have a bad rhythm in your dating life. Like when I was growing up, I'll use myself as an example. When I was growing up, my wife, I met her when she was 12 and I was 14. Okay? We ended up getting married 4 years later. In that 4 years, she broke up with me 599 times. I broke up with her once. And you would have thought the world would have ended. But before I met my wife, even though I was 14, going to church, and I thought the best place to find a girl is in church. And it is. But the problem is sometimes you got to realize what you're looking for. What I was always looking for was someone with blonde hair, blue eyes, and a nice smile. And then somewhere along the line, I went out with a girl who had dark hair. And she didn't have blue eyes. And of all of the things my wife remembers is just that one girl. And this is almost 50 years ago. Because all of a sudden my dating life and my life was just out of rhythm. Honestly, until the day that I met her. And then my rhythm got in an okay beat. It was my heart. Just the fluttering. But sometimes you need to realize that there are certain things that we need to look for. And here's a fact that you need to understand, and that is this. You can't always change your reality, but you can change your rhythm. And the results of the change of that rhythm can change your reality. Romans chapter 12:2 says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. So I don't know this morning, when y'all came here, I don't know what rhythm you're following in your life. You see, because a lot of people are following the rhythm of the world. And the rhythm of the world is going to take you many, many different directions. You see, because the pattern of the world will always change. For those of you that have been here, that grew up during the 1950s, the 1960s, the 1970s, the 1980s, if you were to sit down last night and talk to your kids who were born in the 1980s or the 1990s, about how Christmas used to be when you were a kid, it is totally different
Amen.
than what it is today. Is it not?
Yes.
I remember growing up as a kid. Number one, we didn't have Black Friday. We didn't have Cyber Monday. We didn't have stores staying open for 72 to 96 hours or from Thanksgiving Day 24 hours until Christmas. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what, we didn't have any stores open on Christmas.
Amen.
As a matter of fact, as I was driving here, I looked down and I saw my gas gauge, and all of a sudden my light came on. And I thought, oh no, this is Christmas morning. Oh, no problem. They'll all be open. And sure enough, every filling station that I passed, except one, was open. But can I tell you, growing up, you didn't travel on Christmas Day very far because most filling stations were not open. Most places to eat, like today, are not open, except Waffle House and Taco Bell. Right? Huh?
And Golden Corral.
And what?
Golden Corral.
Oh, Golden Corral's open? Okay. But most places are closed. But the rhythm of Christmas has changed. And our life has changed. It's become more chaotic. I mean, honestly, the time growing up, I don't ever remember in the news somebody telling me that somebody got shot over a parking place. Do you? I don't ever remember that. But now you turn on the news and somebody has always got their phone going on Facebook, right? They record something, especially with these mob crowds and everything else that's going on and everything else that's happening. They got it all going. And you're watching all these people in Walmart or Kmart or Sears or whatever store you shop in. You know, it's all nuts. It's chaotic state of everybody trying to find that one present.
Amen.
It is probably going to go away. I am the hardest person in the world to buy anything for Christmas. My kids are always asking me, Dad, what can we buy you? And I said, don't buy me nothing. I don't need anything. Don't buy me anything. I'm sorry. Don't buy me nothing means buy me everything. Don't buy me anything because I don't need anything. If I need it, I'll go buy it. Okay? So this morning, I walk into the church and somebody got me this. And the bottom says, building the kingdom one life at a time. This is awesome. And as I posted on Facebook, anybody that follows me, anybody that's been here, you know, this is our logo.
Yes.
This is our motto. This is what we live by at this church. And so now I've got to figure out where in the world am I going to put this thing. And I thought like right here. You all are sitting and now I could sit. But no. And this is what I'm saying. It's purple. I mean, it's just amazing. But what happens is we need to understand something. And that is this. If you really want your life, and I think we all do. I think we all want our life just to enjoy. But the thing about it is that everything in life is not always going to be good.
Amen.
there's going to be some glitches. But can I tell you something? If God is your rhythm in your life, even with the glitches, things are okay. When you want to know why? Because God always has a steady rhythm that never changes.
Amen.
It's always consistent. It's always the same beat. It never gets off track. No matter the situation, no matter what you're going through, no matter what's happening right now in your life, God has got the same rhythm from the beginning to the end.
Amen.
And when we stay focused with Him instead of the world, then what ends up happening is we will maintain that rhythm, be in sync, and you will find that the things that you don't think that you can do, God will do through you those impossible tasks. The things that you never dreamed would ever happen in your life, God brings them to us. And we need to understand that. You see, rhythm, ladies and gentlemen, is built into our lives. Do you ever lay in bed at night and just hear your heartbeat? Just beating. And you're just laying there and you hear this beat. And then all of a sudden, it skips. And you lay there as quiet as you can, listening. And you hear that beat again. Just a nice steady beat. And then all of a sudden, you think it skips. And then the next thing you know, what you start hearing is a rapid beat. It's getting faster and faster and faster because you're concerned. And all of a sudden, your body's getting out of whack because you think that what you're hearing is that your heart skipped a beat. And now you're concerned. How many more is it going to skip? Do I need to make a doctor's appointment first thing in the morning and tell the doctor, what do you need to see me for? Well, I was laying awake in bed last night and my heart skipped twice. It wasn't in a steady rhythm. It's something, we need to run some tests. We need to find this out because something's not right, because something got out of rhythm. But how many times has our rhythm with God gotten out of whack?
Amen.
And if we were really, really careful to listen to it, it's not that steady beat all of the time of God. All of a sudden, there's some skips that are happening. And we've gotten out of rhythm and out of step with Him. And things begin to fall apart. And we don't know why. The why is because we've got out of rhythm. And things have begun to fall apart. But you also need to understand that rhythm is meaningless without the context of what it's talking about. And you've got to understand that Jesus is the context of our rhythm.
Amen.
Everything that we do should be centered with Him. And when our relationship with Him is good, then our relationship with everyone else is good.
Amen.
It doesn't get out of whack. But can I tell you, there are times, and Christmas is one of the greatest times of the year, and it should be. And a lot of times when we get together with family, sometimes it becomes the most chaotic state. We don't want it. I'll celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, but I don't want to celebrate a family dinner.
Amen.
Because I know as soon as I get there, Uncle Joe's going to be there, and I just want to punch him out. Or Aunt Sally. You go to your parents and I'll go to mine. Or you go to your in-laws, or I'll tell you what, better off, I'll go to your in-laws and you go to my in-laws. Figure that one out. But so many times what happens is we let everything become so chaotic. And the rhythm gets out of whack. That all of a sudden the family dinner that should be a celebratory time becomes, it just ruined everything. We go home. Number one, you were fighting on the way there. You're fighting while you're there. You're fighting on the way home. And then when New Year's comes around, you're going to make a New Year's resolution. We're going to forget about all the fights we had during Christmas. And we're going to start a new one. But what you need to understand is without Jesus, ladies and gentlemen, your life, I hate to tell you this, but your life is meaningless.
Amen.
At the end of the day, who's ever going to remember what accomplishments you did in life? Are they going to write your name on the front page? You see, there is somebody that remembers everything that you've done.
Amen.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Not the bad things, the good things. His name is God. And that's why Jesus makes our life meaningful. Because with Him, we have hope. And we have the rhythm that's there. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. But can I tell you something? The rhythm of Christmas is not about a pace. And it's not about our patterns. How many of you all do the same thing every Christmas? We do. Every Christmas we have this pattern, okay? Pattern is this. You're going to come to my house. All of the presents that are from us are already underneath the tree. My kids, they all come in the house. My kids, my grandkids, they all bring their packages and they know what they need to do. Take the packages and put them underneath the tree. Okay? That's what you're going to do. And then after everybody's done putting it underneath the tree and stuff, we're eating. And at the time we finish eating, now we're going to open presents. My wife knows exactly who's going to be the first one to pick out a present. Okay? This year it was Samuel. Who is it next year? Okay, next year she gets to go first. And what we do is we go down to all of the women, from my beautiful wife down to the youngest. And then after they're done, we start with the oldest man in the house and we go down to the youngest. And then we start all over again. When you get a present, they go up, they pick out the present. Some of the grandkids have now learned how to read. And so RJ and Eli know how to read, and they agreed that they would not pick out their own presents this time for Christmas. They would pick out each other's. And they did. They would pick out a present. You would look at the card and you would see who it's to and who it's from. If it is to you and it's from a whole family, you open the present and then you must go around and hug and kiss everyone and tell them thank you. We are there for 4, 5, 6 hours opening presents. Every Christmas. Eve. We do this on Christmas Eve. And every year, same thing. Year after year. But this year I got a yearning that there were some things that we did at Christmas when I was a kid that I just wanted. And I was looking for chocolate cream drops and old-fashioned rock candy. And I couldn't find it anywhere. Nowhere. And then I saw a sign down the road, old-fashioned candy, so I said, oh, cool, I'll stop in here. Wasn't the same. So I put on Facebook, does anybody know where, Facebook is cool for this. Does anybody know where I could get these chocolate cream drops and old-fashioned hard candy? Yes. I got the answer to about 4 people told me, Al Couches in New Miami. Go there, they've got it. I went there, they got it. So next Christmas for kids, we're going to hand out Christmas bags. Brown paper sacks filled with cream drops, rock candy, an apple, an orange, and mixed nuts. That's what we got as kids, right? And if you kids can't eat it, us adults will. We've got our sugar controlled. We're all diabetics, right? We're doing fine. But the rhythm of Christmas is not about our patterns. Can I tell you something? The rhythm of our Christmas is about a person.
Amen.
This is why I do not say Happy Holidays. This is why I say Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Now, whether they say it back to me or not, that's up to them. Because Christmas is not about a holiday. It isn't a holiday. Christmas is about a birth of someone who gave me the greatest gift and allowed me to become his son, adopted me into his family, and that was the greatest gift that I had ever received. He really wasn't born on December the 25th. We don't even know. We just pick a day. But can I tell you something? Every day is Christmas. Because every day we celebrate his birth. And it's all about a person. And we begin to understand that. And what is that? In John chapter 1, it says, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning, and through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. The word here was a Greek word by the name of logos. And this is where we get the word logical. Do you know one of the most logical choices that you could ever make is choosing the Word? His name is Jesus.
Amen.
That's the most logical choice that we could always do. You see, because Jesus gave each and every one of you the right to become the child of God.
Amen.
You see, a lot of people will tell you that just because you've been bad, you've done this, you've done that you cannot be the child of God. I'm here to tell you they are telling you a lie.
Amen.
You see, in the Bible, Jesus came to prostitutes. He came to people who didn't have money. He came to people who were crippled, who society said was worthless, who some that society even ostracized and kept them away. And Jesus said, I'm going to them. And may I say this to you, that no matter who you are, doesn't matter what family you're from, it doesn't matter what nationality you are, it doesn't matter what your background is, Jesus wants to give you a future.
Amen.
And he says, I give you the right to become a child of the living God. And the question is, do you exercise that right? You see, as an American, I have a right to stand up, and I have the right of freedom of speech. I have the right as an American to burn a flag. I won't, but I have the right to do that. I get irritated when people do that and disrespect it. It irritates me to no end. But can I tell you something else? It also irritates me to no end when I see Christians disrespected and made fun of because of what we believe and what we stand for. I will not make fun of you for anything you believe. You have the right to believe what you want to believe. But give me the right to discuss it with you. And if you can change my mind, cool. We'll do that. But give me the same right to change yours. And let's have a human dialogue.
Amen.
Because we can do that through Him. The Bible says this, and this one is a paraphrase, and I like it because it says, for everything, absolutely everything, above and below, visible and invisible, rank after rank after rank of angels. Everything got started in Him and finds its purpose in Him. He was there before any of it came into existence and holds it all together right up to the moment. And when it comes to the church, He organizes and holds it together like a head does a body. And that's what He does. And this is the one that we look at, and that is Jesus. You see, there were different beats at Christmas time. There was one by the name of the wise men. Why? They traveled from a long way to come to see Jesus. And as they traveled afar, they had these steps, one after time, until they finally came to there. Herod had a rhythm. He was angry. The angels, they didn't step, they just flew around. The shepherds, as they walked to the manger. But then God had a rhythm. And that rhythm, ladies and gentlemen, was the most important rhythm of it all. You see, because God took one step at a time down a staircase from heaven to earth with a little baby in His arms named Jesus and said, now Mary, Joseph, raise my son.
Amen.
Raise my son. Training him up in my ways. Teach him about me. You think, how in the world does Jesus need to be taught about God? Because He's 100% man,
Amen.
as well as 100% God.
Amen.
But He was being taught. And that mother was holding that newborn baby in that manger in her arms, looking down at the smile and just the enjoyment and the pleasure that she got when she saw Him. But you know what? For the 9 months that she carried that baby, she kept hearing that heartbeat. Just beating. And beating. And beating. And then when Jesus was born, that mother wrapped Him up in her arms, and she began to hear that heartbeat. And she began to feel the rhythm of her child, Jesus. So many things happened to her, or so many things could have happened to her. Mary could have been stoned and killed. Mary could have been shunned and ridiculed and thrown out of the city. Joseph could have been made fun of because look at you. But he wasn't. Many of you when you go to the hospital and maybe you visited with some this week or this Christmas season, and you looked up and you saw the monitors and you're watching the heartbeat and just there. But you see, Jesus lived for 33 years. And the average person has 115,200 heartbeats every day. That's over 42 million times your heart beats in a year. But Jesus, in just 33 years, Jesus had 1.38. Actually, if it was an average, he had 1,387,584,000 times his heart beat. But on the cross, after his heart had followed that beat of 1.38 billion times, it stopped. It stopped. You want to know why? Because the beat of the law came to an end, to a halt. And it appeared that man had suffered a defeat. But on that third day, here's what you heard. Silence. And then, maybe, did you get it for me? That beat that started getting louder, and that beat that sounded different than 3 days ago, because all of a sudden that beat that had once stopped had now started and had become majestic, because that was the beat of our Lord and our Savior, Jesus Christ. You see, it was that beat that started as a newborn baby that grew to be a man who died and then became our Savior. That heartbeat of a little child now is the heartbeat, ladies and gentlemen, that keeps this whole thing together.
Amen.
And it's his heartbeat.
Amen.
And that's why I ask you this morning, what rhythm are you following? Are you allowing the world to tell you what your heart beats? You see, because there's going to be times in your life that you're going to get hit with some of the most heartbroken things.
Amen.
And all of a sudden, you're going to feel like your whole world is just crumbled.
Amen.
And then all of a sudden, you're going to feel numb. you're going to feel like, wow, I just don't feel anything anymore. But can I tell you something? When you get into that situation and when you get into that shape, there is one heartbeat that you'll always feel. And that is His. And that is His. And if we learn to march to the beat of that drum, no matter what's going on, no matter what's happening, we will follow the beat that will always keep us right and straight.
Amen.
It will always allow us to know, you know what? Everything around me is falling apart. It's okay. He's got it. He's got it. And He does. This morning, as Diana just plays, and let's stand. If you have never, ever given your heart, your life to Jesus Christ, would you take this moment right now to allow Him to replace that beat in your heart with His? We allow Him to come in and take over. I will not guarantee you that your problems will go away. Probably what I will guarantee you is that your problems are going to get worse. Because all of a sudden, Satan is just going to bombard you with all kinds of stuff.
Amen.
But you know what? That's okay. Because I don't have to worry about it. And I don't have to be concerned about it because He's got it. You see, Jesus gave me a promise a long time ago in His Word. And He said this, that all things work together to the good for those who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. And what is our purpose? Our purpose is to follow Him and to become like Him. That's our purpose.
Amen.
And guess what? If I lose everything tomorrow, it's okay. It'll work out. Been there, done that one. You lose a job, been there, done that one. There are people that's in this congregation this morning that have gone to the doctor and the doctor says you got cancer. Guess what? Been there and done that one.
Amen.
But no longer do they have that. I don't know what God's going to do, but He does. I'm just asking, will you follow His beat? And will you allow Him to do that? Hello, this is Pastor Chuck Cotton from Calvary Baptist Church. First of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for taking the time out to either listen to our sermon or to watch it on video. We are grateful that you've actually taken the time and hope and pray that it has been a blessing to you as it was to us as we delivered it to our congregation. We ask if you have any questions whatsoever that you email us at pastorchuck@calvarybaptistmiddletown.org, or you could come and give us a phone call, if you would please, at area code 513-423-7251. I'd like to take this opportunity to also invite you to come to our church and visit us, if you would please. We actually have small groups on Sunday morning starting at 9:30, with our morning worship following at 10:45. Prior to our morning small groups, we also provide donuts with coffee, milk, orange juice, a time for fellowship, get to know each other, have a good time before we actually break out into our small groups for Sunday. Our worship services are uplifting, they're fast moving, and everything in our service is just a fast pace. But we do take time every once in a while to slow down as we feel the Holy Spirit moving, and we never want to hinder it in any way. We also have on Sunday evening, during the school year, we have Awana, and Awana starts with the Puggles, actually from age 2 all the way up through high school. And during that period of time, we also have a worship service. Both of these start at 6 o'clock and end at 7:30. Our Wednesday night, we have a Bible study, which starts at 7. We generally finish about 8:15. We would love for you to come and visit with us. Don't have to dress up. Just come as you are, because to us, it doesn't matter. You're a child of God, a creation of His, and so to us, you're important to everything that we do. Our motto here is building the kingdom one life at a time. And we hope that we have a chance to visit with you, get to know you as you get to know us. So thank you, and may God bless you. Great.